I think we may have witnessed the most dysfunctional and chaotic group of people on television. And I say that with hefty competition from Love is Blind, Love Island, Flirt Paradise. Recently, I've been obsessed with this reality TV show and I just need to share it with you guys. And it's called Outlast, The Jungle. The premise is pretty simple. Imagine 16 people on a deserted island in Panama. You have 3 teams separated only by their supplies. Team Alpha, Team Bravo, and Team Charlie. And there's only one major rule. You can switch teams whenever you want. You can sabotage each other, but you must be in a team at all costs. The only issue is that this show is so unhinged that I couldn't help but concentrate on the dynamics between the teams. But let's start at the beginning first. Surprisingly, they all kinda managed to find teams that are tailored to their abilities and their own backgrounds. And the teams start off pretty fair and balanced. I mean, except for the one girl that got kicked out right in the beginning because she was deemed useless by literally every team, and I feel so bad for her. Out of all of the characters, there is people who are more naturally inclined to lead. Now, Team Charlie, that is where the problems start, because there seems to be some kind of tension between the group members. But let's start with Team Alpha, which gets led by Ben, a former federal agent. What exactly did he do? We never find out. My boyfriend and I did suspect that he was a USPS agent, which I think that doesn't make any sense. Throughout the course of the show, his teammates start resenting Ben more and more because of some bad decisions he makes that would sabotage his team's success later on in the game. But more on that later.
It makes me very angry.
Then there's Dave, who is an expedition leader. What the fuck does that mean? Then there's Team Bravo. Team Bravo seems to be the most cohesive and the most functional between the teams. And Team Bravo was de facto led by Sean. He is also a very charismatic character who just randomly fucking fainted into burning flames. In the scene, literally seconds before he faints, he tells his teammates to not give him the cockroach because he's not gonna eat that until he actually really needs to, and then he faints into the fire. Head first dives into the fucking flames, gets 3rd to 2nd degree burns, and needs to get escorted off the show. I mean, I was on my phone at that point. I wasn't even really watching the screen. I just heard everyone scream and I was like, what the fuck happened? Then I just went back a few seconds and I saw his burns. His skin was just peeling off. He looked like a human marshmallow. It was fucking crazy. Very sad for him. Team Bravo lost a very good member early in the competition, which is very unfortunate because I think he could have been very impactful. But luckily, there was still one very substantial and mysterious figure on Team Bravo. His job title literally says, what is it, like educational wildlife education? But he claims himself that he's a 5-time alligator-wrestling champion. What does that mean? How does he fight alligators? Why is he alive? Who supervises the match? How do you declare the winner? Can the alligator also win? Or what is the point in doing that? And then there's the most problematic team of them all, Team Charlie. And Team Charlie is where the issues begin. And also where my personal issues with the show begin. I rarely felt myself getting so mad at a team, especially for how they treat the women in their teams. And that is particularly the case for Sarah. She is kind of the problem child of the team. At first, I thought she's kind of annoying because she just keeps yapping and she doesn't stop.
Woo! We got dinner, boys! Like, I'm a loyal Team Charlie. I ain't nobody, bro. Bro, I sound like a chihuahua.
But then the more you watch the show and the more you learn about her, the more you realize that, well, she actually comes from a good place. But there's one guy, one person in Team Charlie that really takes offense to that. And he is an alleged former NFL player. His name is Wes. I forgot the surname, but it's Wes. He is an interesting figure. And a lot of conflict that happens within Team Charlie is also because of his actions, or maybe inactions, should I say. Because the first turning point happens when Sarah is greatly contributing to the team, setting up the tent, bringing the tarp, and then she notices, hey, where the fuck is Wes? So she goes to the beach and finds him laying there. He's just sunbathing. And it's interesting because Wes himself claims that he's just conserving energy. Funnily enough, that does come into play at some point because later in the show, there is a competition where he says that it's his time to shine now. But we'll get to the competition a bit later on. You kind of notice in his demeanor towards Sarah that he feels attacked.
You keep on bucking up like you a man, like you...
Now, out of all the things that you heard, why do you think the conflict actually happens? Do you think that Sarah confronts him? Well, let me tell you, it happens because Sarah wants to lay down.
That's where you gonna try to sleep?
Yeah, bro. That's what I'm gonna try.
And Wes doesn't want her to. Why is that? Well, because it's his spot.
Well, you know, I try to sleep. That's usually my side.
Would you mind? Would you
Absolutely,
be on that?
mind.
Would you be on that edge?
This has been my spot.
And he didn't want to leave that spot. So instead of actually conceding it to Sarah, who's been working the whole day and has been setting up that very spot that he likes, he fights with her.
You the victim all the time.
Bro, you're not listening! And I lugged most of this shit by myself! So you want me to crash here? You go!
And he makes her get up so that he can lay down in his favorite spot. Like, It's just a little spot on the ground. She also repeatedly calls him bro, to which he responds very negatively. He doesn't like being called bro at all.
Bro, I'm not your bro.
Holmes, I get it. We've slept
You can
this
stop
way.
calling me Holmes. You can start calling me bro. You can start calling me all that shit.
Can you just listen, bro?
I wonder why that's the case. I haven't even talked about the rest of Team Charlie because there's still 3 more people. Now, there's Braxton. He's actually kind of fine, and I thought he was gonna be one of the reasonable people, but and then there's Brett, who they lovingly call Buddy. I don't know if that's because he's stupid or because he looks stupid, but he's the inbred type of the group. I have my very own personal issues with Brett, and that's because of how he behaves towards another one of his teammates, Leiya. She's the final part of why this team is such a gigantic failure in the beginning. She took a 2-day crash course on survival, and she wants to prove herself. The only point of her participating in that show was to show her teammates that she can make fire. So she tries, and she tries for several episodes, and they can't fucking manage to do it. That obviously starts weighing on her. But then at some point she has an idea. She will use sunlight to create fire. Before, she also explicitly told the group that she wants some alone time to figure this out. Despite her wishes, Brett interrupts her, takes over, gets the fire, and then goes back to camp and pretends like it was his idea. So he basically stole her idea, took all of the credit for it, and never even mentioned that it was Leia's idea in the first place. That just made me completely dislike him. While all of that is happening, Team Alpha is kind of growing more dissatisfied with their de facto leader, Ben. But in the meantime, there was an offer. They always have like these little supply drops in the ammunition crates, which I thought was kind of cute, and there's always a little letter inside. This letter required 2 players from each team to be sent to a marked location on the island. Every team picks 2 members, they send them, and then they discover Team Delta. Team Delta, let me tell you, is a fucking luxurious camp in comparison to all of the other camps. It has everything, every resource from every other camp, and most importantly, a deliciously looking roasted pig. Most of them were actually debating leaving their own teams until the former federal agent Ben came in. Because Ben, you have to know, he is kind of an ace in negotiation. So somehow he manages to convince everyone to take a deal. You may be wondering, what could he have proposed that convinces everyone to give up such a big advantage? Everyone walks away and forgets Delta ever existed. No one gets targeted, and everyone needs to promise an equal trade of resources. Would you expect that to work? I'm asking because, well, obviously it didn't work. One of the teams didn't even show up, and the other team just refused to trade their stuff. Ben is leading the team into fucking misery. Every decision he made until now has kind of failed, even though he tried to make it in earnest for his team.
This is the second trade that Ben tried to negotiate, and it turns out that was just a lot of kumbaya bullshit.
But I have to say, something that is also very annoying to me, he kind of dismissed the opinions of his other teammates, like especially the female teammates. I don't know why that was the case, but he just felt like he was the protector of the group. Maybe it's because of ego, maybe it's because he's one of the 2 men in the group, but it was a little annoying. We'll go back to Team Charlie, because keep in mind, they are very divided right now. 2 of them are in an active argument, 2 more of them want to leave the team, and the last one is kind of just flailing around in the background trying to get a fire started for 2 weeks. I personally expected the other group members to side with Sarah because she was trying to be reasonable, but Braxton and Brett sided with Wes. The reason that they stated was, well, Braxton said she was a mood killer and Brett said that she's just talking too much. Which... Leiya was kind of in between because she did acknowledge her bad sides, but she also saw that she was a hard worker and she wanted to keep her. Well, that didn't stop the team from discrediting her. Oh yeah, it's another ammunition crate. This time, the teams had the choice. They could either take a supply in exchange for a teammate, or they keep their team intact, preserving the atmosphere and preserving their team dynamic.
Yeah, I don't like this. I'm not gonna sacrifice one of my teammates. I just really hope my team doesn't stab me in the back.
Now, all teams obviously declined.
So I guess we just know the answer to that for sure already.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not letting anybody go from the team.
We're not getting rid of any of ours.
That's a lie. Team Charlie kicked Sarah out.
I'm gonna vote to see you packing tonight.
Honestly, you aggravate the out of me.
Sarah, we've had great talks, but at the end of the day, it's been a week and none of us have eaten, and we need fire.
They fucking exchanged her for some supplies. So now, after all of that happened, they kind of pressured Leiya into just agreeing to kick Sarah out, and now Sarah had no team anymore.
And sometimes, like, I
Would you
think
like to start a new team with her?
that's not what I'm
Would
thinking.
you be willing to do that?
Why is that a question?
Well, because you're defending her pretty hard, like she's your
taking
sister.
up for her
So
real hard.
She felt like she was bullied off the team. It was actually kind of disgusting to watch. So now she was looking for a new team. Sadly, there was no spot on the team. Well, no, actually, there was one spot. Yeah, Team Bravo, because remember, Sean fell into the fucking fire. So she went to Team Bravo and pleaded for them to take her in. And after some deliberation, they actually did.
We come up with a kind of diabolical plan.
With the caveat of wanting to kick her out as soon as they get the chance. So... oh, that poor girl just can't catch a break. During all of that turbulence, Team Alpha is kind of isolated. They were struggling because they couldn't get a fire started at all. Their tent was wet. It was full of disgusting black, spiky caterpillars. They had bug bites everywhere. They looked fucking horrible. But then, obviously, we have a hero. We have the expedition leader. And he made a proposal. Valiantly, he sacrificed himself to give his team the benefit that they needed. Which I think he just wanted to go home because he was sick of the show. But the team was able to get a supply. And Dave went home. Thank you for your service, Dave. We really appreciate you. My boyfriend and I thought he was gay. So now there were 4, but at least they had a supply. And that could help them in the next competition. There were 2 gigantic crates dropped into the middle of the sea. And the goal was to swim to those crates, get them, and see whatever's inside that could get you an advantage for the game after. Team Bravo and Team Alpha kind of united against Team Charlie. Team Charlie won 1 crate. And got a fucking canoe for fuck! It was a 2 against 1. Please. The other 2 teams got 1 crate as well. It had some fishing equipment, which was very sporadically used by Ben, who tried to fish for fish a whole episode very unsuccessfully, but at least he tried, you know, you can't fault him for that.
I know what I'm doing, I know where like the fish are.
And that canoe is going to be vital for a competition that follows in episode 5. By the way, the episode where I'm stuck on, I haven't finished it yet. Remember when I said that Sarah went to Team Bravo? Well, everybody was kind of focused on the competition. While that was happening, Sarah thought, why not seek revenge? Went to her former teammates' camp and stole 3 machetes, which was a big hit to Team Charlie's morale. This spontaneous heist made her more popular among her new team members, to the point of even reconsidering their diabolical plan of wanting to kick her out. Except Pharaoh. That guy is ruthless. Even better, they went back to Team Charlie to steal coconuts from a tree near their camp, which Team Charlie tried to defend, and Wes was like puffing up his flabby chest, trying to be very manly and intimidating to the women, nearly getting his fucking hand cut off, and it nearly resulted in a physical confrontation between the people. What was the point I was trying to make? All of that bullying in the end led to Team Charlie losing vital resources, which you would say is kind of deserved. Leiya, being very unsatisfied with her team, wanted to switch.
I'm trying to provide value, but I'm constantly getting beat down.
Hey, I hate to tell you, sweetheart, but that's what the you signed up for.
So she went to Team Alpha. She asked Ben and his teammates if they could take her in. And what did she offer? She offered to steal the canoe. And the former federal agent and master strategist declined, completely ignoring his teammates' wishes and, unbeknownst to him, fucking his team over in a later competition that would heavily favor a canoe.
My gut says we've got a good thing with Alpha.
Episode 5 marks the start of that competition. Once again, 2 crates were dropped into the ocean, this time further away from shore. Team Charlie, now equipped with the canoe they won previously, had a massive advantage and was favored to win. I want to use this moment to quickly commend Team Bravo's Abby, who managed to plan and build a fully functional Filipino-style raft with her teammates in the span of a few hours. Team Alpha, though, kind of stuck a few logs together and called it a day. But at least one contestant was proud of it.
I've worked so hard on this raft.
While the race for the first crate was pretty competitive thanks to Abby's ingeniously crafted raft, Team Alpha tried to retrieve the second crate all by themselves. Their chosen ones, Hallie, who is extremely fit and capable, trying her hardest to resist the strong currents, and Ben, who was pathetically floating along with his little boy while Hallie was fighting for her life. While all of that was happening, Charlie sadly managed to retrieve the first crate. When they noticed that the second crate was still free to be claimed, they steered full speed ahead towards it. Now, by the way, Wes's conserved energy comes into play. Charlie won both crates.
Damn.
Leaving Hallie especially frustrated. This was actually so frustrating to her that she ended up leaving the show, and Ben was just kind of floating on his back.
Say la vie.
Now, what was in those crates, you may ask? Well, the white crate enabled Charlie to steal any resource from any team on the island, so they took the ferro rod from Bravo, meaning they now have fire. The red crate, though, enabled the elimination of any member of their choosing. You know who they eliminated? Exactly, Ben. They eliminated Ben from his own team.
Say la vie.
And instead of being sad, his teammates were actually kind of relieved.
I'm excited no matter what happens.
And that is as far as I've watched for now. The show is very entertaining, but it gets overshadowed by fragile male egos that cannot, for the life of them, acknowledge a capable woman when they see one. I think many of the women are way more skilled than the male contestants, except for Leiya. I'm sorry. In the end, I don't know how these people are in real life, and I'm sure their characters are amped up for drama. But even in an unrealistic, hyper-engineered reality TV show setting, women are haunted by the patriarchy and the manosphere. I hope you enjoyed this type of video, and maybe I should cover more shows, or maybe I totally suck at this and I shouldn't do that ever again. That's all I have to say about this one. Anyway, thank you for watching. I see you in the next one. You have no choice, come back.